Hello and welcome to the tutorial on how to downgrade firmware on your iPhone, iTouch or iPad. First of all, we have to learn what an SHSH is and why this is important to downgrade firmware. SHSH, according to Google, it's a signature file which is verified against Apple server to verify the iPhone is running the latest version of OS. So when you go to your iTunes and you try to restore, it's going to connect directly to the Apple servers, and it's not going to allow you to install anything but the latest version of software. So if we click check for update, it's going to update my software version on this first generation iPod, and I will not be able to jailbreak it or unlock it. That applies for any iPhone or iPad. So what we're going to do is we're going to Google an ISPW download for an iTouch and download a firmware, and we're going to look for a later version of the iPod Touch first generation. We can see that we have these different firmwares, and with each different firmware a new patch is added, a new backdoor is closed. So you can downgrade to whichever firmware you want. We're gonna go to the first one. We're gonna go here and we're going to download, and it's going to start downloading the ISPW. The ISPW is the file that's going to restore your entire phone, or iTouch in this case. So we're going to wait for this file to be downloaded, and we're going to put it on our desktop. Exactly how are we going to trick Apple into not connecting to their servers? Well, there's two ways. The first way is to alter your host file, which you have to go to the drivers, etc, then host, and then manually add this IP address so it won't connect to the Apple servers. Or the easier one is to download a software called Tiny Umbrella. Tiny Umbrella will save your SHSH on your computer, and when you try to downgrade, it's not going to connect to the Apple server but to your computer. That way it's not going to check for the latest software, and it's going to allow you to install software that's older. We're going to check up our download. It's almost 50%, and you can see this is what it's going to look like. An ISPW looks like a cube, like those Lego with the little four dots on the top. And well, let's run Tiny Umbrella. We double click it, and it's not a software you can install. It's just an executable file. And right here you can start the TSS server, and you can save your SHSH of this iPod on this computer. That way you can downgrade to a earlier firmware. We're gonna check up our downloads. Now that we're using the Tiny Umbrella, we can now save the SHSH file to this computer and trick Apple server not to connect to my device, but rather my device connect to my local computer for an update. So we clicked on Save all SHSH, and you can recognize the iPhone and the iPod Touch. So when I click Save all SHSH, you got two of them. You got the 3G 4.1 with this serial number, and the 3G 4.2 4.1. Now I can downgrade my iPhone to a earlier version, which can be the 3.1, so I can do a forensic analysis. I can even go all the way to the 1.1. There's no limit in downgrading firmware, and the latest firmware to jailbreak and unlock is a 3.1. So that's where we try to look on the ISPW's downloads. We're gonna try to look for an iPhone 3G 3.1, 2 or 3.1. Any of these two you can download and then enter recovery mode or restore. This is what we're gonna do for the. Now that we have SHSH files saved, now we can go to iTunes and click on our device and then click on restore. But very important, when we click on restore, we have to press shift and restore so you can look for the file in the computer rather than connect to the server. And then you just have to locate the file, which is right here. We're gonna show in contain folder. We're gonna copy and paste on the desktop. That way we have direct access to it. And so iTunes, we're gonna do this again, shift restore, and it's right here. And all you have to do is click on restore, open, and see how it's extracting software. It's not connecting to Apple's software servers, but rather to my computer.